Greetings and welcome back to SmartWatch Ticks. We are going to take a parade through the developer-created watch faces for July 2016. But before we begin, I've been wanting to do this for the longest time, and you know, it's like watching a pot boil. When you try, you can't make it happen. But installing the clock skins to get ready for this review, I managed to mess up my FINOW X5. It's not working. And I want to show you what you need to do ahead of time to make sure if this happens to you, you can bail yourself out and not have to reflash your firmware. You notice the little dot here? That is an installation of a thing called Floating Toucher. And when I touch it, because it's floating on the screen, it will bring up a menu. And I have managed in all of these different pages to put one particular app here called Settings Search. Okay, we're going to go into that in just a minute, and here's why. I installed all of the clock skins, and I disconnected from the computer, and I went to go and see how they turned out. I pressed the button, and it comes right back at me. I can't go anywhere. That is one of the failure modes that lets you know that you have corrupted your launcher data. Launcher data, the launcher is the thing that runs basically the watch. If I were to shut this watch off now and turn it back on, it will come up to a spinning globe or black screen. Anyway, it will freeze. And if it's at that point, because the launcher data is corrupted, I have no choice but to completely flash the firmware all over again with a computer and flash software and all sorts of stuff. It's a mess. And we don't want to go there. So here, before I even show you the clock skins, I'm sorry, this is really important. You want to be sure to download two apps, one called Floating Toucher and the other called Settings Search. Now I'm stuck. I can't go anywhere. The worst situation would be if I was so stuck that this was just black and it wouldn't come back at all. If it were black, the only thing I would have is the little floating toucher dot right there. You see that? That's why it's important to have this in before you start installing clock skins. I'm going to touch it. I'm going to go into Settings Search because I made that one of the apps that I can access through Floating Toucher. I'm going to go into Applications. I'm going to scroll over on these bars at the top to the last one called All. And in All, I'm going to scroll down to Launcher. Now, you're not going to hurt your watch. In fact, you're going to save your watch by doing what you're about to see. HIJKLMNL. Launcher. See it right there? I'm going to touch Launcher. You have to go through this process because you can't get to this page any other way, really. The launcher is the thing that runs the whole watch, and you want to get down here to where it says Clear Data. You see there's some data in here? It's corrupted now. For some reason, when you install clock skins, we haven't figured it out, but once in a while that happens. Clear data. It will be deleted permanently, the app's data. It's not going to delete anything else on here, just the launcher data. I say OK. And now it's been cleared. As soon as I bail out of here, it's going to act like it's coming back to a brand new watch. That's the boot up thing. When you start with a fresh watch, it says select your language, which is going to be English, United States. Are you sure? And at this point, bang, I'm back to the first clock skin. But the data has now been put together properly. So I have all of the basic installed clock skins that we've always had, plus I have all of the new ones that we're going to see today. Okay? So we're going to begin the parade, but I want you to make sure that you have all of this stuff put together before you even begin to install clock skins on whatever watch you've got. The X5, the X1, the X3, the D5, the D6, the Q1, the badi, ba-da-da, all of them that we can take these clock skins. You want to have those two apps, Floating Toucher and Settings Search, set up ahead of time. All right, let's go. Of course, I have to start the video of the July watch faces with yet another evolution of the transparent watch face from Andrew Sommer, who has now created a digital laser projected time and date transparently on the watch. On any of these, you put it on there, you can see right through it. Look at that. It's amazing. There's the laser engines that are generating. Oh, there's the date engine, and it's right there on your arm. And it's in the collection today. Let's take a look at them. We'll start from the top. Take the watch off. Go back into the settings. Slide them all back to the beginning. Oh, we've got a bunch. We've got a bunch. There we go. There's the first one. Now, I'm just going to walk them through here with you without any other distractions. We have quite a few, and these are archived in a unique way. You'll be able to see each of the thumbnails of these watch faces in a file and get the name of the particular watch face from that file, and you'll see the picture, and you'll also have a link to the actual page where the developer has posted his design. And from that posting, you can read about it, you can see the comments on it, and you can click on the link that allows you to download it. A lot of different developers, a bunch of new ones here now, and these are their creations. We're just going to take a look at them. Now, this forum that these come from, the G+ round Android watch community, is a hodgepodge of beginning programmers, senior advanced folks, and everything in between. So sometimes you see multiple editions, like you're seeing here, which were evolutionary creations because something didn't quite work right, or they decided to tweak it and add something. Whatever they've done, you'll see multiple versions of it. And rather than try to do any kind of editing on them, I just included every single thing I could find that was posted during the month and put them here. That gives you the material when you go there and download these actual watch faces. That gives you the material that you can go in and modify them yourself or study the design, see how they were actually put together. Lots of creativity. And of course, as you look at them, you can decide, wow, that one looks really good on my big round watch. I'm going to keep that one. And you can take it and put it on your watch. Other ones you might say, well, it's an interesting design, but it's not for me. And then you can just pass it over. But look at the creativity here. Everybody's got their own perspective on how a watch should look. Now this one, this is Houston, we have a problem, and we're using digital jumping technology to show a UFO blowing up, I guess, Apollo 17 with the time, okay? There's multiple approaches to making moving objects. This one is using the digital technology. Others use the rotating technology of watch hands. You could actually put a photo of just about anybody and put the hands over it. By the way, the stuff up at the top is just there because I didn't scroll to get it off. You see, that's the menu thing that shows you what page you're on. So if you've seen that on the previous one, sorry about that. I'll take it off. It's off now. Okay. And we get into some of the superhero. There's a bunch of play on some of the interesting comic characters this month. You'll see those as we go through. Here's can you tell that's a record album actually cut out, vinyl cut out? Very creative. Here's the original kind of a twist on the record album. Look carefully at that image. That's Batman. I think it's Batman. Bat something or other, huh? Here's another design. Some of these are soft. Now, these AMOLED watch faces that are, each pixel is illuminated separately. When you have black and pure black like that, you're able to reduce the power consumption of the watch. Here's another one where we're using that digital technology to create an optical illusion that's moving. Here we have a whole bunch of different design creations based on this Rolex pattern. So we'll just whip through these. I think these all are in one post even. So you go into that one post and you can get access to a whole Google Drive full of these things. Those are a couple. There's more. These are all sorted alphabetically, by the way, not grouped in any way. So you'll see more of them later. Here's another Batman theme, I think. This one I kind of like. That's neat. Looks good on a silver watch. What I typically do after, I download all of them and I look through them and I set them all up and I make sure they're working and everything's going good. And then I go through and I play with the ones I really like and I pull them into a master file. I don't know, does that look tilted to you? How in the world did they get the wording tilted? That's usually a very tricky thing to do with angles and stuff. But, interesting. I think that's a first watch design for that developer. Here's an interesting one, good for wearing to the office environment, dressed in your coat and tie. When they say, "Where's your tie?" Just flash your watch at them. So I have it on. We've got Democrat and Republican, and if you look carefully, you can see that we have the stars all slowly turning to the right, clockwise, with a moving kind of a second hand, if you want to call it a hand, around, and nothing but the time and the symbol. Another superhero character. You got battery power on this one, and I've let it drain a bit. It says, 52%? So that some of these that might have gauges and stuff, you can see whether or not they're accurate. That turns out to be one of the most challenging things, is to design a watch with accurate digital battery power. This one's really cool. It's subtle. Well, actually, it's coming out really overt on the camera. I'm looking in the camera right now, but when I look at it off camera, the green and blue are really close together, and it really gives the illusion of a rotating sphere. Kind of does that too in here. You notice it's very smooth. Different technique happening now than what we've seen in the jumpy animations. Here we go. This is fun. This is another spin on one of the ones we saw last month, I believe. Earth 2, I think this one's called. And this is one of those you could watch for a while. It's got all sorts of stuff comes flying by. If you can tell, the stars are twinkling really nicely. There's comets that go flying by. There's a reflection of the Earth off of one of the solar panels of a satellite. Really nice work. Yeah. None of us ever imagined we'd be seeing stuff like this. It's really good. Here's another nice one. A lot of these are patterned off of existing watches that you find in the 3D world that have been digitized. And when you go and you access each of these developers' pages, one of the rules at the G Plus community for posting is that an individual has to pay homage, is what they say, to the actual source. So if you're looking at a Rolex or Seiko or whatever watch, they'll have a link to the actual original design. That way we've got continuity of source, and it's just good all the way around, good practice. This one's kind of wild, and this is a new developer too. You're going to see some creativity coming in this way. Look at this. Things flying around at all different speeds. And the time is actually the flames with the date in the middle. Along that similar line by the same developer is this one, the Mystery Shack. This is the first design. He's probably going to be not happy with me that I posted his original, but I like it. I really like it. The time and date are subdued down here. And you've got rain going and flashing lights and lightning and all sorts of stuff happening. His upgraded version, right here, is also equally appealing. A little bit larger date and time. Some other subtle differences. I like them both. They're both on here for you. And you can study what he did to change as well by looking at the code. And here's yet another one with some interesting hands. Pretty cool, huh? I'm going to take a moment and reset the minute hand because we like to do this at 10 after 10. That's kind of the right time to show these things. So I'll be right back. There we go. Doesn't that look better? Whee! Okay, let's keep moving. Now here's a series. This is a sundial. So at this time of the afternoon, I believe it is, morning, I think it's set at 10:10, roughly 10:08 actually. You see 10:08, and the sun shining this way would cast that shadow on the 5th of the month. This is the newest design, just because alphabetically this is how it's sorted, but here's some of his earlier designs as well. If we touch and hold, and you can kind of see the evolution and the shifting going on. There you have lines and tick marks. Here you have the tick marks only showing up in the shadow, which was kind of strange. Not more realistic like the final one was. Okay, so there's different evolutions of that one. Here's another one, really dark. Let's see if I have that slider brightness thing going. There, okay, I do. Try to brighten it up. There, 100%. You can see the subtle stuff in the back. Of course, the hands are all bloomed out. There's the date, other stuff. There's some gears turning here. That really is subtle, but hopefully you can see it. Now I am over bright for all the rest of these, so we'll have to try to turn this down a little bit. Look at that second hand, if you want to call it that thing, whizzing by. I think it's more like, well, that's the time that a lot of us live in, I believe. It really is fun to take a whack at designing these things. They are really easy to do. We have online tutorials. If you're on the SmartWatch Ticks channel, you can look for a playlist on this and watch them all in order. Oh, here you go. Now we're getting into the transparent see-through skin things. This is a female, there's no hair, but you can get the drift. It's a digital time without the laser diode things going on, with just the flashing date and time. And on the proper skin-toned arm at the right brightness, it really does look realistic. A couple of more of his designs similar to that. He has analog, but these are the new digital ones. There's the one we showed at the very beginning. It takes a while to load because it's got a huge number of masks involved. In fact, sometimes it just kind of crashes itself. There, it came back. And this is the one where you see the laser diodes coming down like it's actually being projected. Very advanced work. Andrew Somers does this one. And here's the pink ladies version with the ladies' arm, similar to that first arm that was blue, but this one's got very subtle, but you can see the laser trails illuminating the hands. A lot of good watch faces. If you're into music, you probably understand what all this means. So I'll give you a second to take it all in. Yeah. We're at 57% power, which is great. You get to see what this stuff looks like on some of these different power meters, like over here, where the little flashing lights are. I think that's a power meter on this design. Time code, it says. Oh, this one's cool. This one's really cool. Do you see it? Sit with it for a second. Time, date, simple. I love the creativity of our group. Now, this is actually, you know how Android Wear watches have like a day mode and a night mode. That's the day mode, that's the night mode. If we only could do that on ours, we haven't figured out how. So they're two separate ones. You have to switch them at dark on your own, but there's the same thing. And if you could see in the deep dark gray, that's the thing about an AMOLED display, is that the blacks are really black. Oh, this one's really cool too. Again, look at the smoothness of the rotation of the planet. and the moon. And supposedly, I think it's this watch or it's the other one. You're going to have to check it over time. The moon phase is correct. Maybe it's on both of them. That is something we have control over. And so as you look at this, the actual shading of the moon will match the real moon outside. Great work, really great work. Andrew Somers and Andrew Davis, the two Andrews working on that. It's election time in the United States, and we have one famous candidate who wants to build a border wall. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be huge. Yeah, I'm not going to make any more comments. But there's the time. Oh, any Pokemon fans out there? We've been avoiding it like the plague. You should read the comments on the Pokeball. It's like, no, don't go there. No, it's government conspiracy. We're all being brainwashed. Here's a police watch. Yeah. Nice design. Everything offset and small in terms of analog, and then there's digital on the side. This one is a rainbow watch, and it plays with, again, the fact that you can flash every second a different image as if it were the digital seconds. And so that's what's happening here. There's kind of a flat color screen flashing at the same sequence as the seconds are in the code as a background image, giving a rainbow effect. Not to be outdone, here are the Republicans spinning counterclockwise at this point in the election phase. As you can see, everything's going backwards for them. It's an elephant. What can I say? And, ooh, watch this one. Is that coming through on the camera? Shoot, it's coming through better on the camera. I love it. You got green goo going in both directions. And this one looks like it has promise. I'm not quite sure about that inner wheel, where we're going with that. But these are more of that Rolex collection I was telling you about at the beginning. We're probably down to the alphabetical R right now, where each of these different versions are taking shape. Oops, sorry, that's the same one. Then we have it in white. Good design, nice layout. Sometimes the inner circles and things on these don't work. Even in real life, they're just kind of there for show. We'll see. We'll see what that is. It's always at 22. So if it were to turn, so it would actually be like a 24-hour clock that would line up with the exact time. If it's 10:15, it would be showing the 10, between 10 and 11 up there at that little triangle. That would be cool. I bet he's working on that. Lots of different variations. And that should just be a simple code fix. I notice we're losing the time over here, so before we go to the next one, I'm going to adjust the time back again so we're not blocking anything. Now, these are really, really, really soft. A lot of subtle things going on in here. It's extremely dark. It's a great watch face for in the theater or something. But it's really, really dark. Here it is a little bit brighter. That was in a blue. This is in a green. You can see a little bit more. And then finally, there's a version of this in red. Another Rolex set of skins. Okay. What else have we got? We have SpongeBob round pants. Yeah. What is life without a SpongeBob, huh? We all have kids, I'm sure, somewhere in our lives, and fun to show off that particular watch face for the kids. Here's an optical illusion one, which otherwise, as you can see in the still picture, is almost invisible to see the hands or the numbers, but when it's moving, you actually can see the clock face. Here you go in color. These two happen to be good for are square watches as well. Sometimes they're designed in a way that fills the corners fully like you see here, so they lay out nicely on the Q1 and the D6 Android square watches. Here we go back with the Death Star from Star Wars. We got date and time and battery percentage. Why is it higher now than it was just a few seconds ago? Because I took a break and I charged it up a little bit. We're back up to 71%. It's not magic, folks. It's called editing. Okay, what else? Ooh, another version. This is a simpler one with just the battery percentage and time and the remnants of the Death Star and a whole bunch of debris and other things, I guess, floating around in front. Whoa. All we need is the sound effects. That would be awesome. Okay, here is another really nice watch face with lots of rotating things going on. This is probably going to make one of my favorites on my master list of skins that I keep on my watch, especially on this FINOW X5. This is really elegant against that silver. Here's one that's playing with triangles. It happens to be 10:10, so the hour and the minute triangles are lining up, but they're actually moving with the hands, so there'll always be a different interface between the two triangles. Kind of a modern design. I'm coming back to that one after we twerk a little bit. This may not be politically correct. I don't think it's ever politically correct. But nonetheless, we've got everything here on this channel. It's definitely a stretchy material. This is twerking in slow motion. The clock is in that upper right-hand corner. Here's a modification on the DOS layout we had before with date, time, and battery. There's I'm not quite sure, but some folks are into this. So if you are, you know what we're looking at. Yeah. Again, it tells time. Aw, smartwatch ticks. I love it when we have watches that talk about our channel. And I just, You can feel me, can't you, huh? Smartwatch ticks. Thank you. Here's a digital watch represented on a digital watch with a nice twirling little thing going on. That's a good display. It's got a lot of information on it. This one, well, this is going to take a little bit of work because first of all, you got this clock and then all of a sudden you go boom and it's like a 007, everything you want to know, including a zzz going on, and then it goes away, back subtle again. So kind of playing with night and day or illuminated and dark, different approach. And, oh my gosh, that's it. Except for the one you saw me skip because I swore I was going to save this one for last because this has an Easter egg in it, folks. This is awesome. It takes a while to load because it's got a lot of graphics and things going on here. And it's the quintessential representation of what can be done. As our last watch face this time, I want to point out that we have some amazing developers here, and we're featuring two of them. And I'm going to do this all the time. Down in the show notes, I'm going to put PayPal links to Andrew Somers and Andrew Davis, who brought us some of the most amazing watch faces you've ever seen, including this one. Thank you guys for watching. There's a link down below to a zip file that you can download. And you have been watching Smart Watch Ticks. Yeah. Got it right, Andrew? Huh? All right. See you guys later.